on the head on me. It's the 4th, I'm gonna blow. I wanna get blown up today.
Yeah, he blew his hand off. And there's more bad news, which is that the true extent of his injuries, I don't think has really 100% been revealed.
I went to the hole for like 4 months.
What caused the riot?
Oh man, you know how it go. You know what I'm talking about?
The race thing?
Oh man, you know. Yes. You wanna see me, you wanna gangbang? I'm in the streets. I'm not hard to find, I'm in the hood. I'm burning every day.
From the bloody streets of South Central to viral fame, rapper 4Extra survived gang life, jail, and the odds. But on July 4th, 2025, he did the unthinkable, blew off his own hand with a firecracker.
All right, so I know you guys already seen this image going around, and I figured I might as well just hop on here and give you guys some context.
No setup, no ambush, just him. Now the internet is torn between disbelief and mockery. This is the wild rise and self-destruction of 4Extra, the man who dodged bullets but got blown up by his own fireworks. It was supposed to be a celebration. On the evening of July 4th, 2025, while Americans across the country lit fireworks in celebration of Independence Day, rapper 4Extra was lighting something far more dangerous in a South Los Angeles neighborhood. Known for his gritty survival story, viral moments, and past ties to gang life, 4Extra had clawed his way out of the streets of South Central and into online fame. But that night, his story took a brutal and bizarre turn. As the sun dipped behind the skyline and fireworks crackled above rooftops, 4Extra was live streaming a backyard celebration with close friends and fans. The energy was high, laughter echoed, drinks flowed, and someone off camera played his latest unreleased track. At the center of it all stood 4Extra, shirtless, amped up, and holding what appeared to be a mortar-style firework, a heavy shell-type explosive designed to be launched from a tube.
Off the back, I'm blowing your up. I'm blowing somebody up today.
He wasn't launching it, he was holding it. Phone cameras were rolling. In footage that would later dominate every corner of the internet, 4Extra can be seen grinning, dancing, and waving the device like a trophy. People in the background can be heard yelling warnings, half joking, half serious, but he kept playing it up for the camera. Then came the moment no one could have predicted. Boom! A deafening blast rang out, cutting through the music and laughter like a gunshot. The camera jolted violently, screams erupted. Someone yelled, "Call 911," as partygoers scattered in all directions, some ducking for cover, others frozen in shock. The camera refocused briefly, just long enough to capture the horrifying aftermath. 4Extra was stumbling, clearly disoriented, blood pouring from what remained of his right hand. Several fingers had been blown clean off. His wrist looked twisted and misshapen. The skin was torn open, revealing muscle and bone. He was screaming not just in pain, but in confusion, as if trying to process what had just happened. What made the scene even more surreal was the tone shift. Just seconds earlier, he was on top of the world. Now his hand was in ruins and his future uncertain. Initially, many viewers assumed the clip was fake, a skit, a stunt. Some even speculated it was CGI or a marketing gimmick. But the reality was far more gruesome. Within hours, graphic photos leaked onto Reddit and X, formerly Twitter, showing the full extent of the injury. One unblurred image showed his hand blown open at the palm, several fingers missing entirely, and charred flesh clinging to what was left. The reactions online were instant and ruthless. Bro survived LA gangs just to get folded by a firework. He dodged bullets for years just to take himself out with a party trick. Of all the ways he could have gone out, this is what ends his rap career. Some called it karma, others called it tragic irony, but most just couldn't believe it was real. News outlets scrambled for statements. TMZ picked up the story within hours. By morning, major blogs had labeled it the dumbest rapper injury of the year. On TikTok, the hashtag #4Extra firework fail began trending, with users stitching the footage and adding slow-mo edits, sarcastic commentary, and remixes of the blast sound set to his own tracks. As for 4Extra, he was rushed to a nearby trauma center in critical condition. Paramedics arrived within minutes, and eyewitnesses later confirmed he remained conscious during the ride but was losing blood rapidly. Unconfirmed reports claimed he underwent emergency reconstructive surgery through the night, with doctors attempting to save what was left of his hand. The real tragedy, however, wasn't just the physical loss, it was the symbolic one. Here was a man who had beaten the odds. Gang shootouts, jail time, betrayal in the streets, only to nearly destroy himself in a moment of reckless celebration. And whether it was ego, showmanship, or simply a drunk miscalculation, the result was the same: a viral disaster and a permanent injury. It wouldn't take long before the memes became headlines, and then a full-blown controversy. The blast had barely echoed out of that South Los Angeles backyard when the digital aftershocks hit every corner of the web. At 9:17 p.m. PDT on July 4th, 2025, less than 45 minutes after the explosion, someone clipped the shaky iPhone footage and dumped it on a private Discord server. From there, it spread faster than any PR team could contain.
Now you guys already seen this image going around, and I figured I might as well just hop on here and give you guys some context.
Instagram was first. Graphic screenshots of 4Extra's mangled hand, bloodied, fingers missing, wrist bones exposed popped onto stories with GIF overlays screaming WTF. Within an hour, the clip jumped to a Reddit post titled 4Extra just ended his career with a firework. Upvotes rocketed past 12,000 in a single afternoon. By midnight on the East Coast, TikTok stitched the blast into countless reaction loops. A creator named @Nursanaya slowed the footage to 10% speed, freeze-framing the exact microsecond the mortar ignited while overlaying a grim warning about fireworks injuries. Her post alone pulled 3.6 million views before dawn. Other TikToks leaned into pure mockery. One looped 4Extra's scream over a squeaky toy sound effect. Another recut the explosion to the beat drop of his breakout single, Trench's Anthem. Mainstream sites pounced. At 12:38 a.m. ET July 5th, Sportskeeda blasted an article headlined, "Rookie Move. Internet reacts to 4Extra blowing up his hand on Independence Day." Complex, XXL, and TMZ followed within the next hour, each adding fresh stills and quoting anonymous close friends who described the party as chaotic but mostly sober until the firework. On X, formerly Twitter, the hashtags #4Extra firework fail and #Independence Day injury trended at number 3 and number 5 nationwide. Even people who had never heard of 4Extra joined the pile-on, reposting medical infographics about blast trauma, or splicing the video into Minecraft creeper explosions, memes featuring a photoshopped Captain Hook arm. A handless mode video game HUD and a fake Supreme cast sleeve littered every feed. The reaction wasn't purely comedic. ER doctors posted PSA threads about the difference between consumer-grade and display-grade fireworks. A Los Angeles trauma surgeon tweeted x-rays of similar blast injuries, noting reconstruction can take years, functionality may never return. Days later, July 8, 2025, 4:52 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 4Extra tried damage control. Streaming live from Cedars-Sinai, he reclined in a stark white hospital bed, right arm elevated in a bulky, blood-spotted compression cast. His face was pale but defiant. IV tubing dripped fluids beside him. "I'm good, bro. It's just a scratch," he told 28,000 concurrent viewers, flashing his left hand in a forced thumbs up. "Docs say I'll be back in the studio in a week. Real talk." The chat exploded with laughing cry emojis and clown icons. Viewers screen captured every frame, zooming in on the visible crimson seeping through his bandages. Someone leaked a nurse's station photo showing surgical pins protruding from what remained of his index finger, proof that it was far more than a scratch. Influencers dissected the live stream in reaction videos. "Look at his eyes, he's on morphine," one claimed. Music bloggers predicted tour cancellations and sponsorship losses. Insurance analysts on LinkedIn even weighed in on potential disability payouts. By the end of that week, the meme economy had done what stray bullets, rival gangs, and county jail never could. It turned the once untouchable street legend into a cautionary punchline. And as views climbed and jokes sharpened, one truth loomed larger than any headline. 4Extra's greatest enemy wasn't the streets, it was the unforgiving glare of the internet. Long before the firework fiasco turned him into a meme, 4Extra was already a name whispered in corners of West Coast underground rap and shouted across Instagram lives that often ended in chaos. Born and raised in the heart of South Central Los Angeles, he came up through a system designed to fail young black men like him, a system where survival past 18 wasn't promised, and fame came second to making it out alive.
I started off young though, banging. I started off young, 11, running after my cousins in the hood.
So you always were around the gaming?
Off the back, I'm born and raised in the hood.
Unlike many who distance themselves from their past once fame touches their fingertips, 4Extra leaned in hard. He never sugarcoated his story. Instead, he wore it like armor. From early YouTube interviews to unfiltered freestyle clips filmed in gas station parking lots, he spoke candidly about his ties to local gangs, brushes with death, county jail stints, and betrayals by his closest friends. In one now infamous interview shot in 2023 at a Crenshaw bus stop, he declared, "I wasn't born to rap, I was born to survive. The mic just caught me while I was running." To some fans, this made him authentic, a real one who never sold out or softened his edge. But to others, it made him volatile, a ticking time bomb wrapped in lyrics and live streams. His presence was raw, magnetic, and often unpredictable. By age 22, 4Extra had carved out a niche in LA's underground, gaining traction not just through mixtapes and freestyles, but through viral clips that blurred the line between performance and street life. One week it was a gritty music video shot in front of a memorial mural. The next, a heated Instagram live where he confronted a rival outside a liquor store. Every post fed the persona. Every upload added layers to the legend. In 2024, a clip of him walking out of jail, shirtless and rapping into the camera with a fresh court bracelet on his wrist, exploded across TikTok. It wasn't just the bars, it was the image. Here was a man living the verses most rappers only pretend to write. That video racked up 2.8 million views in 48 hours and brought him to the attention of underground labels and promoters from Compton to Oakland. But 4Extra wasn't chasing a record deal, not yet. He preferred independence, owning his masters, and keeping his content raw. He operated more like a street influencer than a traditional artist posting unfiltered, going live from anywhere, and staying heavily involved with his South Central roots. That authenticity came at a cost.
I just got out the hole. I've been out the hole for like 3 weeks up to a month. Over.
He was banned from several LA clubs due to incidents involving fights or weapons. Local promoters described him as talented but unpredictable. One refused to book him after he brought 6 armed men to a sound check. His fan base only grew. Part of the appeal was the sense of danger. People didn't just listen to 4Extra's music, they watched his life unravel in real time. He had no PR filter, no manager carefully curating his image, just a cracked iPhone, a steady stream of Instagram lives, and an audience hungry for the next outburst. In the months leading up to July 4th, his buzz had started to plateau. He hadn't dropped a major single since February. Rumors circled that he'd been shot twice in April, though he never confirmed it. Instead, he teased snippets from hospital beds, rapped with one eye swollen shut, and captioned posts with cryptic lines like "God don't make no mistakes, only lessons." The man was a walking mixtape of trauma and bravado, stitched together by digital fame. So when news broke that he had blown up his own hand with a firework, fans didn't just gasp, they connected the dots. In a way, it made sense, not because it was expected, but because it was so perfectly on brand. A man who had spent years dodging bullets, risking his freedom, and building his name off raw energy had finally encountered something he couldn't out-hype, himself. The incident may have shocked the world, but to those who followed 4Extra from the start, it felt like the inevitable crash in a story that was always spiraling too fast. Long before the July 4th explosion thrust him into viral infamy, 4Extra had already proven he was his own worst enemy. But no moment illustrated his unraveling more than a now-deleted Instagram Live from early 2024, a volatile incident that many fans now look back on as the first real warning sign. The scene was suburban and eerily quiet until 4Extra's voice shattered the calm. In the footage, later archived and reposted across Reddit and YouTube, the rapper is seen pacing outside a modest, single-story home in Inglewood, California. According to online chatter at the time, the house belonged to a relative, possibly an aunt or cousin, though that detail was never confirmed. What was undeniable was 4Extra's rage. "I'll blow this whole expletive up," he screamed, his voice raw with fury. He paced up and down the driveway like a man on the edge, one arm waving a bottle that some viewers claimed was filled with accelerant. Others insisted it was just a liquor bottle, but the threat landed either way. Inside the home, voices could be heard pleading with him to leave. One sounded like a woman crying, another like a child yelling "stop" over and over. But 4Extra kept going, ranting about betrayal, money, family disloyalty, and something he claimed was the last straw. The video lasted nearly 6 minutes before cutting off, but that was more than enough time for viewers to share it, react to it, and tear it apart in the comment section. This guy needs help, not a record deal. He ain't even a rapper no more, just a walking time bomb. He's going to jail or the grave and nobody's stopping him. The backlash was swift. The post, originally streamed from his main account, was deleted within hours, but not before it was screen recorded and archived on multiple platforms. The phrase "walking time bomb" stuck repeated so often it became a meme tied to his name. Local police reportedly responded to a 911 call made during the incident, but by the time they arrived, 4Extra had vanished. No arrests were made, and no charges were filed. Those close to the situation stayed silent, likely trying to keep the story from escalating further. But for fans and observers, the damage was done. The video became evidence of his instability, and for many it marked the moment when 4Extra stopped being just another street rapper with a rough past and started becoming a public meltdown in motion. Some blamed trauma, others blamed but most simply watched and waited, unsure whether his next move would be another track drop or something far darker. In retrospect, that night on the Inglewood driveway felt like a prelude, the emotional explosion before the physical one. A man consumed by his own flame long before the firework ever went off.
I'm in here with the talk of the town. My man 4Extra is in the building.
As 4Extra's fame grew, so did the tension with his own city. While he continued racking up YouTube views and social followers, word on the streets painted a different picture. People stopped rocking with him. One West Coast blogger noted, "It wasn't the music, it was the antics." A Reddit thread titled "No More Fades for 4Extra" summed it up perfectly. In the post, one user said, "He broke the street code, talks too much, starts beef on camera, then plays victim." Even other rappers began distancing themselves. The LA rap scene is known for keeping things low-key. 4Extra was doing the opposite, putting everything online and burning bridges faster than he could build them. Some fans stayed loyal, most didn't. While his reputation took hits offline, online he was thriving. He posted near-daily updates, beefed with bloggers, taunted rival crews, and even mocked other rappers who landed in jail. His YouTube presence grew off spectacle. Titles like "Pulling Up on the Ops," "Gone Wrong," and "They Said I Wouldn't Survive LA, but I'm Still Here" drove traffic. And yet, for every viral win, there were losses. He was jumped outside a club in 2024, arrested twice in 2023, and in one infamous clip, he nearly passed out on live while allegedly under the influence. "He's not just reckless," one commenter wrote, "he's radioactive." After the July 4th injury, things took a serious turn. While some social media posts claim he lost 2 fingers and will face months of recovery, doctors have not officially confirmed the full extent of his injuries. But even more damaging than the physical wounds was the reputation hit. Event promoters backed out of bookings, a rumored mixtape release was shelved, and people began questioning if this was the final nail in his rap coffin. "He can't shoot, can't fight, can't even throw up his set signs now," joked one TikTok user. Despite this, 4Extra posted through the pain. In one video, he rapped over a beat with his bandaged hand held high. "They counted me out, but I still got my voice. Fireworks took my hand, but I still got a choice." Some applauded the resilience, others called it cringe. The truth is, 4Extra's career was always dancing on the edge of self-destruction. He had the look, the story, and the hunger. But somewhere along the way, the antics took over. What could have been a gritty success story became a highlight reel of chaos. From threatening homes to blowing up his own hand, the man who once symbolized survival became a symbol of recklessness. And while the internet never forgets, it also never stops laughing. Today, 4Extra is at a crossroads. Physically limited, publicly clowned, quietly fading. There's talk that he may switch lanes, start a YouTube show, lean into comedy, or go full shock rapper, and brand himself as the guy who lost it all for clout. But others believe he'll disappear, remembered only for the moment he lit the wrong fuse. Whether he rebuilds or fades into meme history is up to him. But what's certain is this: no matter how dangerous the streets were, it was a firework, not a bullet that finally got him. He outran rivals, escaped cases, survived South Central. But in the end, rapper 4Extra wasn't taken out by the system. He took himself out, one spark at a time. And now his name isn't remembered for a platinum plaque or hit single, but for a single stupid flaming decision that cost him his hand and maybe his whole future.